Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, B'Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations of much love to rescue sincere Akim, pushing word in truth and sincerity. This is the Cleric Azar coming at you with another lesson, and I'm going to get right into it. First and foremost, let me just say that I'm Salakia for my lateness, or in the brief sabbatical I had here on my videos. I had some technical issues, as well as I was sick, and I had a really bad sore throat. I could barely speak, and I just recently changed my phones as well, so I had to download and reload and so forth, get everything back up and running. So Salakia for that, and water for anyone else being patient with me. Been trying to do this video for several weeks now, and I was trying to do it before everything fell apart. So here I am trying to do it again. But I'm going to be calling this lesson, Some of You Jake Women Are Starting to Feel It. And the image I have on display is from a video I came across on YouTube. And it's from the Bougie Show. I'm not sure who the sister is who's speaking, but she was just going into relationships and so forth. And the current situation with you Jakes. It's a hot topic, especially among women, about how they're not desired, and how talking about the Passport Brothers and so forth. And I don't think they mentioned the Passport Brothers, but that's a topic for another day. But the fact that so many Jake men are doing other things besides looking at Jake women, because just the society is just so bad when it comes to relationships and family that there's no, and no one's using the Bible nowadays, and these horrible houses we call churches, they're not doing anything about it. And if anything, they're breeding adultery, so they're not really bringing out the truth about some of these curses that we're dealing with. But I'm going to bring it out in this particular lesson through the Spirit. And let me first play this video so I can at least recollect what was being said, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring out some scriptures.
One thing about the previous generation is a lot of people were adamant about getting married, raising a family. Even if they didn't have it, they would stick it together going through it together, no matter what. Our generation, we're quick to be like, oh, I don't like this person no more. Like, F it, I'm just gonna break up. I'm not even gonna try to work it out. Now it's a lot of single mothers. You got women that's only dating a selective group of men. So now the rate of single mothers is hiking. Men are still getting married out here, and still,
Men are still getting married?
Yeah, surprisingly, men are still getting married.
Is it because a lot of women just feel like they need?
Now, I had to stop it right there, because I gotta be honest with you. Maybe it's a particular demographic that I'm dealing with, where I'm living at, and I live down here in Tampa, Florida. And she just mentioned that she's still seeing men getting married. I don't have a lot of friends. I mean, of course, I deal with the Akim, but as far as even friends I have in the world, I can't name one brother. And of course, I'm up there in age, but going back 30-something years, even then, back into my 20s, I can't think of that many brothers even back then that eventually planned on getting married, wanted to get married. It's just, I felt like I was down a dozen. I felt like I was the one person that, because I went through a divorce, and I always like to go into this just as an observation, just to what's going on in the world. But the water to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, for bringing me this truth, so I'm fully aware. But even the radio announcer here, the DJ, even he was like, "Wow, you still see men being married out here?" If I were to get married nowadays, I couldn't think of my groomsmen. I couldn't think of maybe 5 to 10 groomsmen at this point. Let me continue on with the video though.
Need a man, so they just take things that they necessarily, or sign up for things they wouldn't necessarily want.
Statistically, out here, men are still finding women leaving
because there's a lack of them.
It's way more women. So the men are actually still getting married out here, but the women were falling victim to. A lot of women are single mothers out here, especially Black women, unfortunately. And a lot of people are just not building families anymore. And everybody wants, like, a lot of women are out here trying to be independent when realistically all women want a man. Like, you know you want a man. It's just what it is. And deep down, those women who want a man.
Women want a daddy too, because I feel like a lot of them don't have a dad. I feel like
Yeah, he hit the nail on the head right there, as far as a lot of women not having dads in their life. Okay, this all goes back to the curses. I'm gonna bring it out. Just talk about the family dynamic and as far as having the man in the house and so forth. I mean, this is just basic Bible scriptures, but that you're not going to hear these hard houses they're called churches. You can hear from Elder Apostles of Great Millstone on down. Let's go into the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and we're going to go into the curses, and specifically the curses of disobedience. And we're going to start at verse 54, reading all the way down to verse 57. And the point's going to be all throughout this, but let's start at verse 54, and it reads, "So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children which he shall leave." Okay, you see that? The remnant of his children which he shall leave. So let's talk about the father not being in the house. Okay, this is going back to the curses. Okay, verse 55. "So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children from whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left to him in the siege, and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates." And this is about to happen with Jacob's trouble, as far as people going back to being cannibals. And not all people. There's going to be some people that, are going to make it through, specifically the elect and the 1/3. Okay, but the other people that are out there, specifically the 2/3, some of them are going to be eating people, including their own children. They've done it before, they're going to do it again. Verse 56. "The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter." And you can see that just going out, just being out in public. All right, they're seeing how these Jake women treat their kids, let alone their husbands or sons, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. All right, they don't, and I've done lessons in the past through the Spirit that led me, talking about reverence in the kingdom and how the woman's going to reverence her man in the kingdom and call him Lord, like the way Abraham was called Lord. Okay, by Sarah. Let's go into Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 57. Verse 57, it reads, "And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them." See, she shall eat them. It's going back into that cannibalism we just brought out in verse 55. "For she shall eat them for want of all things, secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates." Just like it, it's yawning here. Okay. All right, so Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54, verse 57 talked about the man not being there, talked about cannibalism, eating the children, and so forth. That doesn't sound like a functional family to me. Okay, but I'm going to end it on this. I always like to end my videos on a good note, some type of silver lining, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. So in other words, there is a happy ending. And I need to hear this frequently myself, because I don't have kids, and I have a desire to have them. Okay, and the brother Barack from GMS Tampa was speaking to me earlier today about just being patient, and the things that you want, you just have to get in the kingdom, because that's how the Heavenly Father has manufactured his people, specifically his elect. All right, but we humbly are saying right now, currently, we're the hopeful elect, because we don't know. Let's go into the book of Amos, and I'm going to go into chapter 9, verse 11. Amos chapter 9, verse 11, and it reads, "In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old." Now, see that? That's showing that that things that are done in the past is going to matter in the future. All right, because a restoration, that's what this is. Bring it back into being built as in the days of old. And that's going to go into a lot of different things. All right, but this is going to be a kingdom that's never going to fall. It's going to be reigning forever, the kingdom of heaven on earth. Okay, and this is specifically for the specifically for the elect, but the whole nation of Israel will come through the loins of the elect. Okay, let's go into that seed. Let's go into Isaiah chapter 65, verse 9. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 9, and it reads, "And I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob and out of Judah, an inheritor of my mountains, and mine elect shall inherit it, and my servants shall dwell there." You see that? So he's talking about the elect, and Jacob and Judah is talking about the northern kingdom as well as the southern kingdom of Israel being restored and brought back together, and in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, now here's a really good one. Let's go into the restoration of Jerusalem, specifically the nation of Israel. We're going to go into the book of Zechariah chapter 8, start at verse 1, read all the way down to verse 5. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 1, and it reads, "Again the word of the Lord of hosts came to me, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury. Thus saith the Lord, I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth, and the mountain of the Lord of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem." So it just shows you how this is talking about the kingdom of heaven, and how, as you know, it's a blessing for most Jakes, specifically the southern kingdom, to live to a certain age because of the curses. And I don't need to go into them, but gang warfare, Slovakia, black on black crime, and so forth. All right, and the prison system. Okay, now in the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to have to worry about that. Okay, because the curses are going to be bestowed on to our enemies, as stated in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7. Okay, let me read on again. "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age." Here's the point now. Verse 5. "And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof." Now this is talking about children to be born, just like we were bringing out in Isaiah chapter 65, verse 9, the seed. Okay. And so there's going to be children again. All right. And I know churches don't go into that there's, copulation in the kingdom or reproduction in the kingdom as far as births and so forth. And that's good to know. All right. There's a restoration, and there's going to be children that are going to be born in the kingdom, babies and so forth. Okay. All right. So that's going to be an actual restoration of the family as well. So if you want to find this video on YouTube, you can look it up here. The title of it is "A Lot of Women Out Here Are Single Women." I'm sorry, are single mothers, especially black women. File the interview. It's on the Bougie Show. And I just wanted to share that because I came across it. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, who gives me the strength of the Spirit to continue to strive and adore in these last days. Shalom to the hopeful elect, and on to the next video.